everywhere. I looked through hundreds of files, searched through my text messages. I even looked everywhere in my wardrobe, but I just couldn't find where I asked for your opinion.
My goodness. Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah, where I scour the internet and search for situations where I can offer my unsolicited opinions. Today's episode of Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah comes from Dear Abby. I had taken a break from Dear Abby, but this headline called to me deeply. Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah, working wife continues to support husband who left. You see? You see why I had to come back to Dear Abby? Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah, my husband of 35 years moved out 3 years ago. 3 years ago. We live only a block apart, and I contribute a lot to his household because he's on disability and does not have enough money to make it through the month. Your husband had every opportunity to listen to the Cheaper to Keep Her track. And if he had listened to the Cheaper to Keep Her track, then he would have known. I have a great job and I travel as a photographer. My job is the reason he moved out. According to him, I was gone too much. Recently, we have discussed the possibility of divorcing. Oh, okay. So you're not divorced. He moved out. He lives a block away. And he left because you were gone too much. Recently, we discussed the possibility of divorcing. Although he hasn't done it yet, he has expressed interest in dating a man. No wonder this called out to me. But then he pulls me back in with the I love you and can't live without you stuff. We can't. He can't afford to. He can't afford to live without you. He is correct. I don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. He is hostile. He is hostile when I'm away at work and constantly accuses me of cheating. I'm at a loss. Please help. Signed, in a fix in Alabama. I mean, it's so weird that you're in a fix. It's very weird. It's very weird. Your husband moved out and you're discussing divorce. He'd like to date a man. Let's go back up. I have a great job and I travel as a photographer. So you like your job enough that your husband leaving wasn't sufficient reason to figure out another job. So that means to me that you love your job. So the petty person in me definitely feels like if you felt like if my husband left me over my job, then you don't get the spoils of war. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You don't get to benefit from the very thing that you don't like. That's the petty person in me. Why does he live a block away if he can't afford it? He may need to move into an area that he can afford to live so that I'm just unclear as how You're paying for your husband to leave you. I don't understand that. I'm just trying to understand. You work too much. I'm leaving. Okay. Send me your rent bill. Like, I don't know how that happened. It's just very weird how that happened. It sounds like you're dealing with some guilt. And it sounds like your husband's manipulative. From the he's interested in dating a man to the hostility when you're away at work, to the accusing you of cheating, to the I love you and I can't live without you. All of that sounds like manipulation. It sounded like he thought he could manipulate you into changing your career because he didn't like it. And I'm glad you didn't go for that. I'm very happy that you didn't go for that. I do want you... I'm at a loss. Unfortunately, you're not at a loss. Because you're still... Well, yeah, you're at a loss. You're losing money from paying for your husband to leave you. I mean, it just I'm leaving. Okay. You may want to find somewhere to live that you can afford on your disability. Not, I'm leaving and can you help me with my living expenses so I could leave you? Literally makes no sense. You're not at a loss. You just don't have the courage to tell this nigga to get a fucking grip. You just don't have the courage to tell this nigga to get a fucking grip. And that is absolutely... I don't know what his disability is, whether he can physically grip or not. I don't know if it's a mental disability. But please help. Please help you find a divorce attorney. Please help you stop paying your husband's bills. Please help you to disengage with this manipulation of I'm going to date a man, but I love you and I can't live without you. Yeah. Yeah, anybody reading this, I don't even know who would advise you differently. Maybe one of those church members who feel like, you know, as a wife, you should endure your husband's tomfoolery until he gets, you know, a grip on himself and, you know, comes to his senses. Or, you know, maybe you should pick another career. Listen, baby, listen. What is wild to me is that you're the breadwinner and he's telling you, it's not really the money for me, it's the manipulation for me. I think that's the part I don't like. 3 years is a long time. 3 years is a long time. I can understand that you love your husband and, you know, he moved out and so, you know, you were helping him out. I mean, that's not my life. So when I say I understand it, I don't. But I can see how other people live that kind of life where they're supporting the person who's leaving them. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And every time I say it, it doesn't make sense. But, you know, like 6 months, okay, all right, you know, fair to say. 3 years? 3 years? 3 years of you paying for him not to live with you with the job that he doesn't like? I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And it's very easy, not easy, but it's a very clear solution, which is divorce this man and go off and live your best life. And if you can't, you know, You can't dictate where this man lives, but I would definitely encourage you to stop paying his bills. 3 years? 3 years? You've gotten yours. Now you're going to have to pay alimony. Now you have to pay alimony. I mean, that much is clear. I mean, you go to court and you've been paying his bills after he moved out. Easy alimony. Easy alimony. That's definitely alimony. So you might as well put it on record. You know, go ahead and get the court to mandate how much you give this man a month, because you definitely gonna have to pay some alimony. And you know, depending on what Alabama, I don't know. It just seems like you definitely have to pay alimony because you've been supporting the both of you through this marriage. And after he moved out, you still supporting him. So that just reeks of alimony. But I definitely encourage you to stop discussing the divorce. Go ahead and get the divorce and have it in writing how much you owe this man every month, and travel. You know, move, live different places. Don't be a block away from him. What we don't need is for you to be a block away while he's dating someone, living comfortably in the lifestyle that you have provided for him, whereas he left you because of, you know, said job. That's what we don't need. That's what we don't need. So divorce your husband, and unless you want to be poly, unless you want to be poly and, you know, your husband has a boyfriend that's around all the time and you just, you know, you're with him because clearly you love him. And, you know, you're just the financial component of the relationship if that's what you want, because that's where this is heading. That's where this is heading. He's going to get a boyfriend. He probably already has a boyfriend. He may have a boyfriend. And you're paying for him to date someone else. You know, that's where this is headed, or that's where this already is. So you're at a loss. No, you actually do need to be at a loss. You need to lose that man, okay, and move on with your life. And it doesn't matter what he says. Pay attention to what he does. He's already moved out. I can't even believe 3 years later you're still paying. Does it say how much? I contribute a lot to his household. I mean, if he's on disability, that means that somebody comes in, you know, according to what kind of disability he has, how he's differently abled. And, you know, if he can't cook for himself, somebody can come in and do these things as part of the whole disability package. You know what I mean? In these United States of America. I don't know specifically about Alabama, but I feel like there are definitely programs for this man. I know that they have self-sufficiency programs because they want people who are differently able to be able to live on their own as much as possible. So, but that's literally none of your business. He's a grown man and he can research those programs on his own. And I think 3 years is a sufficient amount of time for him to, you know, be able to make decisions that don't involve your financial contribution to his life, especially because, and I'm only saying this because he's the one with the problem with the way you make money. So if he has a problem with the way that you make money, then no, sir, you don't get to benefit from that money that you have a problem with how I make it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So yeah, divorce him. Divorce him, pay alimony, move on with your life. There you go. And I'm sure family and friends have told you the same thing. So I can't imagine why you have to write in to a total complete stranger for them to tell you the same thing. I mean, unless you're an orphan with no siblings and no friends and nobody with sense around you, I'm pretty sure that you have been advised to let him go. You know, it's the first of the month. It's a great time to start new habits, right? Much success to us all.